Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. Okay, children, yesterday we started our new lesson in economics and we discussed some topics also yesterday. We discussed about the employment structure in India. We discussed about the types of employment, that is organized sectors and unorganized sectors we discussed. And we discussed about the features of organized sector and some features of unorganized sector also we discussed. Today we are going to discuss about the two sectors. One is private sector and another one is public sector. So if you take private sector, that is further divided into uncorporated private sector and incorporated private sector and franchises. So this private sector, the uncorporated, it is further divided into sole trader and partnership. And here incorporated, it is further divided into companies, that is private limited companies and public limited companies. So these are all the various subdivisions of private sector. And if you come under public sector, it is governed by local government and central government and nationalized industries. So these three are the subheadings given under the public sector, governing bodies of public sector. And here under private sector, we can divide into uncorporated and incorporated. We are going to discuss about the differences between private sector and public sector. So in private sector, ownership of assets and delivery of services is in the hands of private individuals or companies. You would have seen lot of companies and factories throughout our country, isn't it? So the owners, the assets means maybe the factories, all belongs to a individual. So he will be the owner of that. So he may be running a company on his own. So whatever products he is producing, so he is the owner of that, and he will be having the power to deliver the services also. And if you take in the case of public sector, the government will be the owner of the assets. For example, if you take government schools, government hospitals, so all the services will be provided by the public sector. The assets will belong to the government. Next one, if you take private sector, your main aim is to earn profit. For example, if you are going to run a business, you are not going to do any service, isn't it? So your aim is to make profit through that business. But in public sector, the purpose of public sector is not to earn profit. Their aim is not to make profit. Especially public sector's motive will be for the benefit of the people. And to get such services, we have to pay money to these individuals and companies. So for example, if you are going to get some service from a private sector, so you have to pay money for them, money for the individuals. For example, if you are not feeling well, okay, for example, if you are not feeling well and you have decided to go for a private hospital, then you have to pay the services. For example, if the doctor is advising you to take some tests, and even for consulting the doctor, you have to pay money, isn't it, to the individual, so to get services. So that is the case of private sector. But if you go to a government hospital, automatically you will not be asked to pay money for the services you're going to render. We discussed about private sector and public sector, how it is subdivided in our previous paragraph, isn't it? Now, here we are going to again discuss the difference between private sector and public sector. So, already I told you, in private sector, ownership of the assets, maybe buildings or infrastructure, it may belong to a particular private individual or companies. But whereas in public sector, the government owns the assets and provide all the services needed. And the next one is private sector is profit motive. Their only aim is to earn profit. But whereas in the public sector, they are a welfare motive. So the public sector runs by the government for the welfare of the people. And if you want to get some services from an individual, you have to pay for that. But in government, you no need to pay. I told you the example about government hospitals. If you go to government hospitals, free of cost, you can go undergo the treatment, whatever you need, isn't it? But in case of public sector, no need to pay. So here government raises money through taxes. We are paying taxes and revenues. Government gets revenues in various names, isn't it? So all the money collected by the government, it is utilized for the welfare of the people. So the expenses on the services rendered by the government by utilizing the taxes and revenue, it gets through various sources. So here example, if you take Tisco, that is Tata Iron and Steel Company, and Reliance Industries Limited. These are all some of the examples of private sector. And public sector, railways and post office. These two are examples of public sector. Now employment trends. Nowadays, many people are very much interested in running their own businesses. So self-employment. So we should find the ways how we should employ ourselves. Then full-time employees. Nowadays, many firms are giving employment opportunities for more people in full-time, and some many firms, they are ready to employ people on short-term contract basis. Some people, they will say that I am working under contract for 1 year or 3 months or 6 months. So firms are ready to give employment opportunities in short-term contracts as well as full-time also. And at present, there is a growing trend, that is many people are involving in part-time employment also. So, for example, if you take a college students, even they are employed, they are doing some part-time jobs. Those who are under the poverty line, some students are there in a, there those who couldn't pay fees also. If you take many college students are there, those who are doing part-time jobs and they are uh, studying further. If you take foreign countries, so in our many Indian students are working as uh, part-time employees in foreign countries, and they are taking up their higher studies. So now part-time employment has become a trend. So these are the various employment trends in our country. Now, employment trends in Tamil Nadu, you know very well. The major occupation of our country as well as state is agriculture. So even though agriculture, there is a sharp decline in GDP, but it continues to be the largest employer. Agriculture provides employment opportunities for most of the people, but even though we have some problems like water scarcity, flood, drought, these are all some agricultural problems our farmers are facing. Most of the employment growth in Tamil Nadu has been contributed by organized as well as, sorry, unorganized as well as formal sectors. So even many firms, they are ready and they are providing job opportunities. They are contributing a lot. These unorganized and formal sectors, they are contributing a lot to increase the employment opportunities in our state. Okay, children, in this lesson, we discussed about private sector, public sector, employment trends, and employment status in India and Tamil Nadu. Thank you, children.